Okay, well, here we are. Welcome to January 11th. Guess whose birthday it is today? 54 years old. Pretty excited about that. Not really. Anyways, welcome to the show. It's been a few weeks. This is called What Else Is New, and I am Kelly Green, your host on this tiny little show. You might notice if you've been here before, I've got a little bit of a different background going on, moving my production studio into a different room. I swear it's taken me more time just to get this arrangement set up this morning, even though I was mostly set, than it has to prepare all the different clips that I have for you all. So it might be a little bit clunky. I'm feeling out of practice after a couple weeks of not doing any of this. But before I get into it, I just want to show a couple of things. First, I have to change my view to my primary monitor. We'll go back over here. And in 1971, where are we? 1971. Common year, 1971. The events that I wanted to... Oh, there's the one I wanted to highlight for you. The landmark United States television sitcom All in the Family debuts on January 12th. So that's like tomorrow would be the 54th anniversary of that. I was trying to find some interesting things that happened on 1971. I was born in 71. The original Earth Day, as you can see here, is in 1970. But I was conceived right around the time of that first Earth Day, having been born about 9 months later. In 1971, there were 326.42 parts per million carbon in the atmosphere. Today, quite a lot more. It's speeding up. During the 54 years before my birth, it only increased by 24. And since I've been born, it's increased 95 parts per million. So that's generally a problem. Pollution in the atmosphere. As you know, I'm big on climate change and big on environmentalism, a bit of an activist here and there. So I'm always trying to keep an eye on these things that are happening. Anyways, I'm feeling old. 54. Wow, that's a long time. You know who else is 54? No, 53. I'm actually older than this guy, Justin Pierre James Trudeau. So this is an interesting little factoid. We're born in the same year. We're under the same sun sign. But I'm nearly a year older than he. He's a Christmas baby. So my very, very first Christmas, our current Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, was born. Now, as you can tell, the handsome gene was alive and well in 1971, right? Anyways, I want to get back over to my other monitor. I got some things to share with you. This first little bit I saw yesterday is put out on the Adbusters channel on YouTube. So let's give this a check. I don't know what the third...
Tonight, what CBC News is learning about a big name...
Never mind. I'm not sure what that third force thing is. Anyways, I thought that was an interesting little video to share. Of course, the fires are still ongoing in LA. Major disaster. 2 days ago, they were saying $150 billion. Huge disaster. So on the show here, I wanted to talk a little bit more about this MirrorLife thing. Now, some of you may have been hearing about this. It's a big concern among scientists. A lot of us don't really even quite understand it yet. I still don't understand it, but I'm going to play a little clip from this character, Anton. He seems fairly credible. He's got a lot of followers, 1.4 million, and we'll just have a little listen to what he has to say.
Know that technically, building these mirror biological molecules is already achievable. A lot of mirror enzymes have been created over the years, and a lot of them for various medical reasons. But the studies like this that essentially is trying to build the entire bacteria from the ground up by using these mirror molecules is literally what the scientists are trying to warn us about, because we don't know where this goes. If such bacteria were to be created, in theory, it could technically become completely immune to all immune systems on the planet. For example, if one were to get infected by such bacteria, our immune system would be completely ineffective against it and would not be able to evolve and adapt for millions and millions of years. And because here the molecules and the entire structure would be identical to a normal bacteria, it would function in a very similar way. And so if something like this were to escape from some kind of a lab out there, it could literally cause an extinction event. For example, nothing that eats bacteria usually would be able to consume this because it would be completely useless to them, since mirror molecules are not digestible. None of the digestive enzymes would work on these bacteria, and it could also be completely immune to various viruses. Normally in nature, viruses control the bacterial growth and can actually be used to prevent infections, but a typical virus would not affect mirror bacteria because it would just not see it and would not be able to act on it. And since the entire biosphere of the planet is based on these left-handed amino acids, anything that comes into existence with right-handed amino acids can potentially completely displease everything, even outcompeting other bacteria in the same niche. In other words, a right-handed amino acid bacteria that suddenly comes into the same niche would simply displace anything else because no virus and no enzyme can do anything to it. It can literally take over the entire planet without anything affecting it.
Well, that sounds lovely. Anyways, I don't really quite understand it, but there's smart people that do understand it. And I hope you're one of those smart people. And I'm just going to keep an eye on this story. It's quite interesting, and I'm sure it will develop rapidly now that we have AI and AI agents quickly on the scene. Now, getting into AI. Oh, what are we here? This is an AI. But I wanted to show this. My friend here on YouTube, Sandy Shellis, with the Environmental Coffee House, she had shared this video that she'd come across a couple of days ago, and it is incredible. It's a long video, and I think this John Hicks, I think he's no stranger to the video production game, and he has quite a lot of followers, 1.67 million. So we are going to take just a quick look at this footage of his.
Good Lord, man, I was not ready for this. Not ready for the things I was going to see today. Those are some powerful scenes just on that street alone. Everybody looks so completely defeated, man. That's the only way I can really describe it. Everyone looked completely defeated, sad, done. No really other way to put it. I don't see any news out here, man. I don't know. No news coverage for this stuff. This is just the aftermath, really. More houses just completely just gone. Entire neighborhood leveled. Just completely leveled. This is a pretty really strong smoke. Oh my God. Oh my God. This house recently caught on fire. I mean, it's over. Jesus Christ, man.
Wow, that's some wild stuff coming out of LA. And I think that was shot 2 days ago, so maybe the late afternoon, early evening on the... It would have been late afternoon on the 9th. I believe that was shot. Incredible stuff. Unprecedented disaster coming out of LA. And I just want to skip back over to my other monitor and show you something really quickly with regards to something that our friend Professor Elliot Jacobson put out just a few hours ago. Now he's talking about in December 2017, a big fire in Santa Barbara, and then shortly thereafter an atmospheric river hit the area. Of course, all of the hillsides are now wiped clean from fire, and then when that heavy rain comes in, you get the earth starting to move off those hills, mudslides and landslides and that type of thing. So that is something to look for as a hazard that's coming. And the way I understand it, they're on Saturday. So today's Saturday the 11th. The way I understand it, today and tomorrow into the 12th, those high Santa Ana winds are going to start picking up again in Los Angeles. And there's still a number of fires out of control in that area. So this disaster is not over yet. And I would not be surprised to see it surpass $500 billion in damages. Okay, where are we at? I'm going to switch back again quickly to my other monitor. And we're going to have a quick little look and explanation about AI agents.
So we know that in January or somewhere in Q1 2025, OpenAI is going to release their autonomous agent called Operator right inside ChatGPT. It's going to be able to operate your computer and get tasks done. Google, Anthropic, every other major tech company is in a race to launch similar agent-like behaviors inside their models. We have Claude with computer use. And I believe instead of looking at all the jobs that will be eliminated, we should consider all the jobs that will open up. When AI does the heavy lifting in a faster, better, cheaper, safer way than any other human ever could. Number one, most routine office work will be completely eliminated. New jobs.
Okay, so I just want to say that this woman, what is her name? I don't even know her name. Julia McCoy. She's very, very, very pro AI. She runs a company that helps organizations deploy AI. So she's very much in favor of it. She's produced a video a couple of weeks ago where that whole segment, she said, her and her voice and everything that she says and all the visuals was all created by AI. Very interesting. But I just wanted to touch on the fact about the AI agents, which are coming soon. And I can't even put into words how concerned I am about this situation. Probably overreacting, just like the MirrorLife, and just like how I was overreacting about climate change and the species loss and desertification, deforestation, chemicals in the environment, all those things I was concerned about 35 years ago. Rob Braxman, he's doing a lot of work. I'm not sure how to take him. His politics aren't exactly aligning with mine, but he seems to have a very, very good handle on tech and on AI. And he is talking here about the deployment of agents and AI directly in our operating systems, on our computers, on our phones, etc. So let's give this a quick little listen.
Already identified a target use of this technology. For example, it is a way to disrupt individuals who are affecting society outside of some established norm by debanking. Let me tell you the reality.
So debanking, he's talking about debanking. So once everything has gone to digital banking, it'll be much more easier to control. They have, I believe, similar systems being deployed in China, along with their social credit system and everybody being monitored 24/7. And if you're a good citizen, your benefits go up. If you're a bad citizen, your benefits go down. I don't know where you're going to fit on the scene, but I'm not feeling particularly encouraged about this new development.
You will not be able to hide your opinions, your belief systems, or your choices from the AI. This
is a very important point. We haven't been able to hide, essentially, for a long time. It's been very well known that we've been under some pretty heavy surveillance for decades through the internet and through our communications tools. One just need visit the work of Edward Snowden to know that that is true. Now things become much, much worse. So yeah, there's no hiding anymore. Good luck with that. And yeah, good luck. Let's see what else.
It will be impossible. So if a controlling entity asks all the embedded AIs in the world to find people with a certain characteristic, perhaps deserving of disruption, could it not do that? It could disrupt you in many ways. Some direct heavy-handed attack like debanking or social media censorship, or even a subtle attempt at your re-education.
So I just want to talk a little bit about that. There's the subtle things that can happen to a person. It's not always drastic immediately at the time, but it can have a lasting effect. What I want to show you here is just a couple minutes or so of David Rowick's talking about recently being demonetized. So his channel on YouTube, it wasn't deleted, it's still there, you can still get the content, unlike an album of his that was completely disappeared from Spotify in 2024. He still has his YouTube channel, up to 11,000 subs. He's been working hard over the years to slowly climb those numbers, and he is a very hardworking, very talented, and very politically outspoken artist and activist. So let's give a quick listen.
Informed me that my channel has been permanently demonetized. Not just a 90-day suspension, as I had previously been told. There is no possibility for redress, they say. It's a lifetime ban on making any more income through this major streaming platform. I'm shaking involuntarily. I posted the above paragraph on Facebook earlier today, and a lot of people in the comments said very nice things and asked repeatedly why this happened. So given that there's now a fairly dramatic update to discuss, let's do it. But first of all, for those of you who might not get to the end of this post, I'm being deleted from the internet bit by bit on all the sorts of platforms where this tends to happen to controversial people. There are alternative platforms that are, for now, less susceptible to this kind of thing, but they are akin to replacing the smooth highways with bumpy dirt roads.
So David is being attacked relentlessly, both online and IRL. If he tries to organize a gig, he's being followed around, and venue operators and managers and promoters are being discouraged from having David show up. He's had material disappeared from Spotify. That affects his income. Now he's demonetized from YouTube, also affecting his income. When people can't come to his shows, or his shows are canceled, or the venue is canceled, obviously that affects his income. Hardworking guy. I encourage you to go out and support him because he's feeling it. But let's get back to Rob just for a second.
Many of you will be in disbelief that anything has ever manipulated your opinions, but it already has. And I will show you some examples, and it will show you how vulnerable you all are to an AI that knows what you know.
So the AIs, they know what you know. They're everywhere, right? They're on the internet, listening. All our smart devices now, whether it be a refrigerator or a doorbell or, AI, it's getting into everything. It's getting very, very, very sophisticated if you're following the news, and it's just jumping in leaps and leaps and leaps and bounds. We're talking about AGI as early as this year, and we're about to have agents be unleashed upon us. So it's not just a human being where I can type in a prompt and ask ChatGPT a question and have something come back and have it be an interesting way to write or research or create different pieces of art. But now it's becoming so intelligent that there can be an actual agent, an actual self-organized artificial intelligence that can do its own things. So you can just ask it, go do these things, and it can then go do stuff. So pretty soon those AIs, they're going to start multiplying. They're getting involved within the real world, getting tied in with robotics. Those things are also multiplying. Oh, speaking of robotics, I wanted to give a quick little bit. This is about Elon Musk. So we're talking about the techno-feudal dystopia, I guess, that we're heading towards. And I picked out this particular clip because this gentleman, I forget his name, but this is Max Blumenthal at the Gray Zone. He mentions an interesting point about Elon's lineage, his grandfather, in fact. So give a listen for that to show up. Here we go.
That this has nothing to do with politics, and has definitely nothing to do with Elon being a MAGA or a conservative or anything like this. He has shown himself throughout his career to be an adept shapeshifter. He's able to wiggle into basically any political position that suits his business interests and his vision of the future, and the people who are backing him as well. And so what you have here is an interesting character who, for all intents and purposes, appeared to support Joe Biden in the last election. Yeah. I would venture to guess he was a Democrat. I would also venture to guess that he was part of Democratic bundling for fundraising. He is a huge outspoken proponent for carbon taxes. This is like one of the ultimate red flags for like MAGA. It's amazing how they had amnesia on this. And he basically has been courting the billionaire Democratic donor class for the last decade to buy Tesla as a status symbol. You live in the Beltway, Max, so you know it has been a status symbol for a long time in Washington to drive a Tesla for a certain type of person with certain type of policy. So Elon Musk was all behind all that. And he is a World Economic Forum acolyte. He is a technocrat. He is the grandson of the founder of Technocracy, Inc. So, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And so he is a globalist, an arch globalist, a technocrat. His vision of the future is an automated one. He is one of the biggest drivers right now on robotics and seeing robots replace humans in the workforce. No talk about this, of course, on the campaign trail. It is all.
So yeah, definitely big on the robots. I hadn't heard about Technocracy Inc. in years and years. I remember running into people that were involved with that in Toronto, and it seemed pretty weird. It was like I don't know. It was kind of out there and not really getting a lot of traction. But anyways, I don't know why I thought that was interesting. Did I mention that I'm 54? Getting a little old. Okay, so I want to get over to my other monitor and just show you a couple of more quick little things that currently, right now, as you can see, the Climate Crisis Club is on. Should we give a quick listen? Yeah, let's do it.
Score, but it's the Climate Core that does exist. I tried to get,
but I mean for like just for natural disasters or the climate disasters that are happening.
The United States has the Climate Corps, exactly. Biden's initiative. You can join the Climate Corps and go out there and dig ditches in California to prevent forest fires, things like that. These fires, you know, one thing we forgot to talk about so far today is the 1.6 degrees Celsius. It's official.
So the Climate Crisis Club, it's kind of interesting. Every Saturday morning, Alex Hale gets a lot of different people participating in this Twitter space. I was fortunate enough and honored to be invited as a guest speaker a few weeks back, and that was very interesting. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out well in the end. I discovered that one of the people in that Spaces group was befriending me, and I did some digging in with their profile picture, and then I was curious about that because it sounded like an interesting podcast, and I asked for a link, and he gave me a link to the actual podcast where that profile picture was from, and then I clicked on the link that was in the profile to take me to the podcast, but it didn't take me to the podcast. It took me to Mossad, the Israeli intelligence organization. Now, that's not good for my mental health to be clicking on links that go directly to any intelligence agency. Mossad is particularly troublesome, right up there with the CIA, hand in hand, and M1K, I'm sure. So I called this guy out, and I made a big fuss about it in the space. I said, I'm not big on this kind of scene. So I just assumed that the Climate Crisis Club was duly infiltrated. And when I confronted these people about their links to Mossad, they said, "Oh, it's just a joke. Yeah, we're just joking around. It's how we find Nazis and nonsense like that." It's like, oh yeah, that's totally not funny, but good to know that you guys are here keeping an eye on things. So I can't really, in good conscience, hang out in the Climate Crisis Club with Alex Hale and the others, although there are others in the Climate Crisis Club that participate regularly, that are friends of mine online here and do some excellent work. So I'm not discounting it altogether, but I would caution folks, you know what, do whatever you want. Who cares? We're in the age of AI. Collapse is upon us, and whatever. They, like Rob Broxman said earlier, there's no running, there's no hiding. We can't pretend to exist and not have our every move, our every word, our every thought, our every image, our every click, our every desire being known and cataloged, and again fed into AI for all of the rest of our time. Okay, so where are we? We'll get back over to, I just want to make sure I'm on the right monitor here. Yes, we are. Primary monitor. What did we have? Oh, I wanted to show you this thing from Facebook. I'd mentioned Ann Cognito. She's a friend of mine on Facebook, and in 2019, Ann trekked across the country, I believe, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, all the way to our nation's capital, Ottawa, and camped out on Parliament Hill. Anne was looking to get a meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to get a commitment from him to address the climate crisis. That meeting never happened, and ended up camping out on Parliament Hill right through to spring of 2020 when the pandemic started exploding. And along that time, a woman in Ottawa, an author, an educator, a researcher, a professor at Carleton University, Barbara Leckie, she had popped by the climate crisis camp and brought a thermos of something warm and had a brief conversation outside the flap of the tent, never did go in. But that meeting and that situation, it ended up being a bit of a muse, a bit of an inspiration for this book that she'd been working on. So Barbara mentions that meeting and mentions Anne in the first couple pages of this book, or the promo to this book. At any rate, I had suggested that Anne get in touch with Barbara because she's got this book, and quite possibly people have read that book and read Anne's story and would like to now help Anne out, because Anne, with her lovely dog Mr. Myrtle, who she traveled across the country with as well, they're in some precarious living situations. Anne has some issues. I don't want to give the name, and I might get it wrong. Environmental sensitivities to the extreme, and not a lot of money. So at one point, she was she lived in her tent for a long time, and then she bought a sailboat, hoping to live in a sailboat, and that somehow didn't go through. And now she's looking to either build or buy a safe, tiny home so that she and her dog can exist safely and she can get her life back together. She had some extreme difficulties and some trauma and some lasting brain damage, actually, from a recent hospital visit in the last couple of years. So she's, Anne, in a bit of a mess, in a bit of a bind. And I've shared her fundraiser before. I was looking for it again. I couldn't find it, but you can find Anne on Facebook. You can just Google up Anne Cognito. It's a moniker. And hopefully we can get her some more support. And hopefully Barbara Leckie, the author of this interesting, albeit very academic book, Climate Change Interrupted, hopefully they can get in touch, and the author can put her readers in touch with Anne, or at least make them aware that Anne is out there, she's still existing, but could use some help getting housed so that she can be a fully realized human being once again. Okay, so here's that thing from Blue Sky. Blue Sky. By the way, if you're on the Blue Sky, you can find me at Boiling Frog BSS. Boiling Frog BSS. Check that out. What else do I have in my tabs? I got Techno Utopianism Hard Landing. This is a Radio Eco Shock show. I encourage you to check this out. He's doing some really good quality programming on the regular. Radio Eco Shock. Check that out. Of course, we got mail, route driver. Oh yeah, I was looking for some work. Here's the windy map from this morning, January 11th at 11 a.m. This giant high pressure a few days ago was over here. It wasn't as giant, and we had these two big low pressures on either side. And at the time, I thought maybe that high pressure was helping push those Santa Ana winds. But as it turned out, it was a low pressure area that was in there before the high pressure moved in that was causing those winds. I'm not a meteorologist. I know I like to dabble. I'm curious about it. Anyways, I like the windy because it shows me lots of different things like pressure, and I get to check out the rain and the thunder situation. As you can see right now, we've got some rain and snow happening. Oh, I can concur. We definitely have some rain and snow happening. First it was raining. It's what are we at? -2. So when I woke up this morning, it was raining. And then it started snowing. Oh my God. I'm glad I don't have to go outside. The roads and the sidewalks are going to be deadly. Deadly. Okay, so the 1971 stuff, Earth Day, CO2 in the atmosphere, and our favorite Prime Minister. I'm totally joking. I think at this point, he's nobody's favorite Prime Minister. But I would like to give him kudos because in 2019, he legalized marijuana. October of 2019. Excellent. Good for him. Kudos to him. And I wish him well, I guess. He's on his way out. He resigned his position not long ago. He's still in the position, but as soon as they find another leader, they're going to, he's going to leave and the new leader's coming in. Interestingly enough, one of the people who's probably throwing their hat in the ring for the leadership of the Canadian Federal Liberal Party is Mark Carney, a banker. Governor General of the Bank of Canada at one point in time. I think he was a head banker in the UK also at one point in time. I wouldn't support having a banker run the country. I mean, it's already pretty bad, but that sounds like it'd be really bad. But then the alternative, who's probably going to be the PM, is Pierre Poilievre. Trying to think of something nice. At least Pierre Poilievre, at least he has experience in the House of Commons. He's been there for 20 years plus, 20, 25 years. So at least he knows that. He's a total twat. But whatever, is what it is. The good thing, and just like in the United States, I'm hoping, the good thing with having the ultra-right or any right government in power is it mobilizes all the left, anyone left of that, which is a lot of people, anyone left of their position to organize and mobilize and working on these issues. And it feels good because for a few years we're like, yeah, we could do things better for the environment, better for social justice, and we can help eliminate poverty and have more social safety nets built in. And we fight for that. And then we'll, in a few years or 10 years, we'll elect another center or center-left government on those promises to make the world better. And of course, just like in the United States, once the good guys get in, they're like, oh, I don't know, I guess we can't do anything because of whatever reason. Anyways, it's a bunch of bullshit. All that being said, I want to wish you all a very good day. Thanks for joining me on my birthday show, January 11, 2025. Kelly Green turned 54. And you got to share that along with some of my friends and family. some of which I don't think I've remembered. So if you see this today and it's still January 11th, you want to tell my family to send me a text or something? No, I'm just kidding. I did get some texts this morning already from my ex, from my daughter. Happy birthday from my grandson, which I should read that out to you. It's quite funny. He says, Abu Sahara Haba Haba Dada, which is baby talk for happy birthday, I'm told. So thank you, William. That's very nice of you. And from an old friend who may have gotten mentioned, she was my original muse to become active in the environment and social justice issues and politically aware, etc. Long freaking time ago, like 1990 or something. My old girlfriend, Sarah. So thanks for reaching out to me this morning, Sarah, from down east, and wishing me a happy birthday. And yeah, hope you guys are all having as good a day as you can. Cheers.